Hello, welcome back to Wada. My name is Beast, and today we're back with IroSekai. I've got nothing else. It's lunchtime. As per usual, the group's all eating together on the rooftop.
今日の出来はいかがでしょう?
Right, I do have something else to say, namely, I have finished a labyrinth deck in Master Duel. Yeah. Wow. Right. Did great again. And now I'd have taken a bite of the lunch that she prepared for me. Tastes wonderful. After doing a quick fist bump, she holds her hands to her chest and breathes a sigh of relief.
よかったです。正直に言うと、ちょっと今日は出来に不安があったので。
Really? It does taste great.
ありがとうございます。そう言ってもらえると嬉しいです。
It's been a few days since our beach excursion. After making the decision to continue holding her cooking skills, Kana has been making me lunch every day. That still is the occasional disaster, but those are getting more and more infrequent. She's finally attained proficiency. Well, maybe not exactly. She's already mastered most of the technical aspects, but with regard to certain other things, it isn't so clear. The easy example would be how she gets the urge to go above and beyond when cooking for me in particular. Anyhow, I'm the one who should be thanking you. You're up bright and early to do this for me morning after morning.
いえ、それは私が好きでやっていることなのでいいんです。
She started off simple with things like rice balls, but she's been steadily venturing into more complicated dishes. Today's lunch contains a delightful variety of different vegetables and meat. There you go.
早起きは楽ではないですが、でもお料理は楽しいから大丈夫です。
You do?
はい。でも本当ならお昼だけでもいつも皆さんの分も用意したいんですけど、如月さんに任せっきりじゃなくて、だけどどうしてもユーマさんのお弁当を作っていると時間がかかってしまうので、皆さんの分まで手が回らなくて。
Huh. I stare once again at the lunch.
ユーマさん?
I'm really dying to know the exact process you go through when fixing food for me.
それは言えません。
Her cheeks glow red.
恥ずかしくて。
Whatever, I'll just ignore it. Now then, place my hands together, I resume eating.
ねえ、ユーマ。
Yeah?
本当に美味しい?
That really does, honest to goodness.
そうなんだ。
She frowns pensively. Mio? Oh, no, I was just wondering.
何?
Are you alright?
どうって?
Looks like something's bothering you.
別に何でもないけど。
She continues eating. Even with Kana fixing my lunch, Mio still handles my lunch. Mio still handles lunch for everyone else as usual. Actually, come to think of it, there's a meeting I realized something. You two must share the kitchen in the mornings, huh?
そうね。
She nods as she brings more food to her mouth.
あそこの厨房は結構広いから。あともう一人くらいなら一緒に並んで作業をしても大丈夫だって思う。
Oh, really?
はい。それに料理でわからないところは如月さんに教えてもらったりしています。
You ask Mio?
そうなんです。如月さんは教え方がとても上手だと思います。
Huh, wasn't aware that she was up with Kana. Question.
何?
When did you two become BFFs? They exchange a glance.
別に仲良くなんてないけど。そうですね。普通ですよね。
They resume eating, albeit both seeming a bit to be quite uncomfortable. So both seeming to be quite comfortable. Stupid. There is a certain restlessness to the way they're acting. Strikes me as somewhat amusing.
如月お姉さんのお弁当はいつもとっても美味しいです。
Huh? Oh yeah, she does.
そしてメイドなお姉さんが作った今日のお兄さんのお弁当もとても美味しそうです。
Her eyes sparkle as she stares in a daze. Yeah. Food is perfectly edible now, so maybe it wouldn't hurt to share a bit. If you want, I hold my chopsticks above the lunchbox, considering what to pick. You can try some? Grab the rolled omelet with my chopsticks.
いいんですかお兄さん。
Sure, try it.
私がもらっても
Almost as good as Mia's lunches, even.
それでは少しだけいただいてもいいでしょうか
Sure. Though it's bad manners to pass food from chopstick to chopsticks. I think I have an alternative method. Okay, open your mouth.
ですかそれはダメです浮気です
Bickering and bantering, we continue to eat our lunches.
ユーマさんちょっといいですか
We're all shuffling back to our respective classrooms, Kana suddenly calls out to me and stops
私
me.
少し考えたことがあるんですけど
She leans in as though she's about to tell me a secret.
寮の地下室から行ける場所にレンちゃんとお母さんが住んでいる場所があるじゃないですか
Well, you're talking about the merchant town.
はいそうですその町です以前一緒にあの町へ出かけた時あそこは屋台がたくさん並んでいて美味しそうな食材とかがいっぱい置いてありましたよね
Yeah, I remember. That's pretty normal for that town. You can buy a variety of rare items, delicious foodstuffs that are unattainable in this world for cheap. They attract a lot of customers from neighboring towns and even towns further out. Was there something in particular that caught your eye?
あの町で食材を買い物してみるのも面白いかなって思いまして
Oh,
私たちの世界では手に入らないような食材を使って料理をしたら面白そうだって
Kana.
はい
I told you to take your time, didn't I? I will admit, though, it seems like an interesting proposal.
はいそうですねもちろん今すぐにはやりませんけどゆくゆくはそういうのも挑戦してみたくてそのための下見をしてみてもいいかなって思ったんです
Having an inquisitive mind is a good thing, I suppose.
そういうわけなのであの町でお買い物したいんですだから地下室を使わせていただいてもいいですかその許可をもらえればと思って
I doubt it'll be a problem.
あとですね私はあの町の通貨を持っていないのでいくらかあちら側の通貨と両替していただければ嬉しいんです
Sure thing. So that's what you
ユ
wanted.
マさんあの町のお金は持っているって言ってましたよね
Yeah, but not much. Also, I believe Shigure keeps some currency from various different worlds stowed away in his desk. Exchanging some of it with Kana shouldn't be an issue. Alright, we'll do that when we get home.
はいありがとうございます
Now, do you want me to accompany you when you go there?
いえいえそんなこれくらい一人でできますよ
You sure?
はいそうなんですそれに
All of a sudden, she blushes bashfully.
食べてくれる人の喜ぶ顔を考えながら買い物をするのも私にとっての料理の楽しみの一つだってそう感じますから
Oh, right. Not quite sure how to respond to that, especially when I see that beaming smile. It's making this more awkward for me. Well, anyway, I avert my eyes to escape her gaze. The money exchange and using the basement shouldn't be a problem.
はいお夕飯を食べたらお買い物に行こうと思っています
Alright.
ついでにレンちゃんのお母さんにもお料理を教えてもらおうかなって思います
Oh, yeah, that sounds nice.
珍しい食材の調理の仕方を教えてもらってきます
She smiles with
それ
glee.
ではまた放課後に
She gives me a quick bow before scurrying off to her own classroom. Excuse me, where are the other worlds? A dream. I'm dreaming. As always, feathers fall from the sky. I hear a voice. Someone's calling to me.
ユーマユーマ
Mm.
ねえユーマ起きてる
I groggily open my eyes. Huh? I look to and fro, trying to work out where I am.
こんなところで寝てたら風邪ひくわよ。
So come back to me now. After getting home from school, Mia began fixing dinner like usual. I sat at the dining table and laid my head down as I listened to the pleasant rhythmical sound of Mio hitting the knife against the chopping board. I began to nod off. Apparently, I fell asleep and had been snoozing until Mio woke me up just a second ago. Good morning. I straightened my posture over my eyes. Is dinner ready?
うん、できたけど寝ぼけてる？
A little.
顔洗ってきたら？
Probably. Stand up, then totter down the doorway.
ついでにみんなを呼んできてくれたら嬉しいけど。
Yeah, sure thing.
あ、それと私今から着替えついでにシャワー浴びようと思うから、ドアを開けるときはちゃんとロックを忘れずに。
I turned back towards Mio. Ah! Doing so, I smashed my little toe on the chair leg. Ah! I scream out in agony.
大丈夫？
She watches on, giggling. Nope, I'm not okay. Not okay at all.
目覚めた？
Yeah.
それって痛いのよね。
God, you're telling me. Thanks to that, I've completely lost my train of
も
thought.
う平気？
More or less.
歩ける？
Probably?
それじゃあ痛みに耐えてるところ悪いけど行ってきてくれる？
You got it. If I had to pick my favorite character right now, it probably would be Mio. I like the cheeks she's got every now and again.
なんだ？
I'm just betting whether or not I should get rid of the pain on my little toe. I could heal a minor injury like this in an instant. However, the power belongs to both of us. If I cleared by Shink before, and I'll no longer have to worry about mistakenly using his power and whims.
そうだな。でも私は嫌かもしれないな。
Right.
こんなことくらいでいちいち力を使っていたら、いくら記憶力が良くても追いつかないだろ。
Good point.
その代わりユーマは少しの間痛いのを我慢しなくちゃいけないけれど。
I could land it. Anyways, what was I supposed to be doing right now? Enduring pain in my toe knocked a lot of things out of my head.
夕食の呼びかけに回るんじゃなかったかな？
Oh yeah, that was it. I need to carry out the task assigned onto me by Mio. Alright, let's get started. Whose room should I visit? Gaza. Like, I'm pretty much locked into Tsukasa at this point, so I will only be picking Tsukasa's first. You in there, Tsukasa? Knock on the door to room 201. I'm here to tell you dinner. I'm here to tell you dinner's ready.
あ、お兄さん、どうしたんですか？
Huh? Turn around at the sound of her voice to find Tsukasa herself standing
何
behind
かご用でしょうか、お兄さん。
me. Yeah, dinner's ready. Have you been out somewhere?
はい、夏目お姉さんの部屋で次のお仕事の打ち合わせをしておりました。
Oh, really?
はいです。こう言うと、なんだかちょっとだけ偉くなったような気分なのです。
She laughs bashfully. So, what's your next job?
はい、とても大切なお仕事です。
Ah, that sounds cool.
その名も、お兄さんにどのようにして携帯電話を携帯させるか大作戦です。
I'm sorry, what?
緊急連絡係としてお兄さんのおそばに常時控えているようにと命じられた私なのですが。
What about Suzuisu?
はい、そうなのです。でもやはりプライベートな時間まで私のようにやかましいのが近くでちょろちょろしていましたら、いくら寛容寛大なお兄さんでも激鱗に触れてしまわれるかもしれなくて。ともかく私が近くに控えていられない時にもちゃんとお兄さんに連絡が取れるようにするには、まずやはりお兄さん本人に携帯電話を常備していただかなければいけないわけで。
Tsukasa. So I was just thinking.
はい、何でしょうか。
Were you allowed to tell me about this vision of yours?
はあ。
She then stands stock still, mouth agape, as her eyes flit left and right in complete shock. Well, anyway, I've been carrying my phone on me whenever I go out to sea. I reach into my pants pocket and pull out my phone to show her. And it's got plenty of battery life left too.
これは
You probably don't need to worry about helping me.
なんということでしょう
Is it really that much of a surprise?
ついこの前まで携帯の存在そのものをお忘れになっていたように思うのです。それなのに今日はどうして
I'm not sure there's any real explanation for it. I just did.
そうなのですか
So don't worry yourself over it.
待ち受けがこの前海に行った時の写真です。
Yeah.
こんな写真いつの間に
Back to what I was saying. I closed my cell phone. I'll make sure to bring my phone with me anytime I go out somewhere, so you don't have to carry out this mission of yours or whatever.
そうですか
She looks a bit disheartened. Susan probably only suggested this to you in the first place because she wanted to prank me or because she was bored, so don't give her the time of day if she asks you to do something similar in the future. Whenever she gets in a mischievous mood, I'm always on the receiving end. Still frowning, Tsukasa looks at me in the eyes and says,
ごめんなさいです、お兄さん。
Don't need to apologize, but how about this?
はい。
I'll give you a job of my own.
本当ですか
Yep. I call it Operation Find Susan's Weakness.
夏目お姉さんの弱点をですか
Exactly. If you find something we can use against her, it'll surely come in handy someday. Hypothetically, I might be able to put an end to her cheeky pranks once and for all.
お兄さん、
Yeah?
あのお姉さんに弱点なんてあるんですか
Good question. She far succeeds the average person in just about every aspect.
もしかしたら存在しないかもしれないものを探すだなんて。
Tsukasa.
なんだか私、ワクワクします。
Really?
はい。とてつもないやりがいというものを感じますです。
I'm not quite sure why, but she's very pumped up about this. Alright, I'm entrusting you with this important task, so don't let me down. Now, this mission will require you to observe Susan in her natural habitat, which will be extremely difficult to accomplish, seeing as her senses are as honed as those of a wild animal. Finding a weakness without being caught will be no easy feat, but I believe you can do it, Tsukasa.
はい。わかりました。お兄さん、私は頑張ります。
She scampers off down the hallway. Where she's headed, though, I do not know. Dinner time, Tsukasa, so make sure you come to the dining room soon. Hopefully she heard me. Okay, where next? Make a mental list of where I still have left.
どうしたそんな渋い顔して。
It's nothing, I just...
ちょっとなんだ
Like there's something I'm forgetting.
忘れてることそんなものはちょっとどころか山ほどあるだろう。ユーマの場合は。
Yes. The feeling I often have, so she may be right. There's no sense fretting over it. Anyway, who should I go fetch next? Kyo, I guess.
Nani?
How do I always get roped into this? Went to room 103 to tell Kyo that dinner was ready, but for some reason I now find myself sitting down and playing a game with her. If we don't go soon, the food will get cold.
でも、チェックしないといけないから。
Make sure of what?
ちゃんとお兄ちゃんが練習してるかどうかな。
Fair enough, but honestly, Kyo, I think it's about time you started going easy on me.
どういうこと
I barely have time to move before you've beat me to a pulp and KO'd me. Can you really check the results of my training that way? She gives me a vigorous nod.
私が楽しいから、それでいいって思うの。
That's not testing me, Kyo. What you're doing is called bullying.
そんなことないよ。ちゃんと練習してくれてたら、問題なく戦えるレベルだって思うの。それくらいには手加減してるよ。
Well, you could say that, but I am practicing, I promise I
本
am.
当
Really, really.
でも、
Purse her lips, still discontent.
全然進歩が見られないの。
Not even a smidgen. In that case, I don't have any misgivings. Time to show the fruits of my training. Alright, let's get this next round started.
でも、お夕飯が。
This will be our last one. That fine by you?
Okay.
10 rounds later. The match begins. The winner is... None other than me. She freezes in disbelief. Told you I've been practicing. How do you like that?
こんなのって、ありえない。
Nothing is impossible, Kyo. Tired of always being on the receiving end of her brutality after looking up tips and strategies and practicing them with Shinku, which she could play. If you can practice strategies in a fighting game with Shinku, that just straight up eliminates the whole she's a figment of his imagination theory. Unless he somehow sits over here like fucking controlling his character with his hands while he's just controlling fucking Shinku's off to the side with his fucking feet. Shinku has to be a corporeal being to at least an extent. Where maybe if it's a case that it's a case of if he is the only one observing her, she can touch things. But if anyone other than the MC is observing her, she cannot. Well, I don't know what buttons to press and how to radio the combos, but she could look all that up for me as I practice by following her commands, or like that. But in order to look it up, she would also have to be able to, you know, operate a fucking smartphone or PC, so she'd still have to touch something. And that would have been unfair, but all in all, I didn't cheat in any way. She's still staring at me wide-eyed. Alright, ready to go to the dining room? I begin to stand up, but before I can,
待って。
I'm grabbed around the waist.
このままじゃ終われないよ。
What about dinner?
お夕飯は逃げない。
So can the game?
とにかくやろう。この悔しさをバネにして。
The revenge means nothing to me. I may feel upset, but I feel like I'm in cloud 9 right now. I'm satisfied and ready to go quit playing. So can we?
行かない。
Figured you'd say that. She shakes her head from side to side.
このまま終われたらご飯が喉を通らないかもしれないの。悔しくて。
Fine, but not too long.
うん。
The two of us brawled for 10 more minutes.
こんなのはおかしい。
He stares at the screen in
言
disbelief.
い分だなんて。
Nothing's wrong with it. I've just shot up to your level. It's more interesting fighting someone at your skill level now.
それは教師がいいからだよな。
She smiles at me smugly.
感謝するといい。
Oh, right, thanks.
何か？
Oh, nothing, just talking to myself.
ん。
You don't look very happy.
それは。
Is it not more fun to fight against someone who's an even match for you?
そうかもだけど。でも、この短時間でこの飛躍はちょっと変だって思うの。それも、一人で練習していてでしょ？おかしいよ。
Oh yeah, talking about even matched. Literally just before the recording, I decided to open up a Master Duel for the daily reward. And I also saw, hey, I can pull. So I decided to pull like the fucking quote-unquote staple pack. That also has like Axis Code Talker, fucking Ash Blossom, Imperm, shit like that in it. And I proceeded to draw like an ultra rare evenly matched. Which, you know, considering that I was in the middle of building a fucking labyrinth deck, worked out in a way because it is a normal trap. Can use it like a normal trap. Anyways. Isn't that weird?
誰かものすごく上手な人にレクチャーしてもらったようにしか思えないんだけど。ねえ、誰に教えてもらったの？
The woman living in my head. Oh, how to answer that question?
私、その人とゲームをしてみたいの。 そうだな。私もできればそうしてみたいけど。
Chico smiles awkwardly.
でも、私は別に期待されるほどゲームは得意じゃないんだけどな。とにかくもう一回だけ、私にチャンスをいただければと。
Nope, dinner comes first.
ブー。
I'll play with you as much as you want after dinner, though.
本当？
Yep, promise. And then stand up. Well, I still have other people to tell, so I'll see you in the dining room. Thus, I leave room 103. Oh yeah, Kana's just been... You know what? I'm better. I actually kind of enjoy playing against her.
誰のおかげか忘れちゃダメだぞ。
I'll be sure to write it in the diary. Okay, whose room should I go to next, Kana? I'll knock at the door to room 101.
はい、どちら様ですか？
I'm here about your car's extended warranty. It's me. Dinner's ready.
はい、了解です。これが終わったらすぐに行きますね。
Why are you even wearing the maid outfit when hanging out in your room? What are you up to?
ちょうど皆さんの洗濯物を畳んでいたところなんです。
Never buddy was? What? Fuck, never mind is what I wanted to say. I survey the room and spot a pile of laundry that seems to be freshly dried. Folding laundry, eh?
はい、お料理以外、掃除、洗濯は私のお仕事ですので。
She juts out her chest in pride for declaring.
洗濯物を畳ませたら、ちょっとしたものですよ、私。
Check the folder stack and see that indeed each and every item is folded incredibly neatly. It seems to have been carefully meticulously done so that each article of clothes would fit neatly into the drawer. Hold on 1 second.
What?
I mean, you can probably arrive at a suitable answer to this question on my own. It's already been several days since I made the door of my new temporary home. I'm fairly certain that I've been carelessly tossing my dirty clothes into the washing machine whenever I take a bath. Does that mean you've been washing my underwear?
それはもちろん、誰かがやらなくちゃいけないことですから。
Yeah, of course, somebody's got to do it. I mean, clothes don't exactly wash themselves, dry themselves, and neatly fold themselves day after day. I was lucky enough to not have to worry about washing my own clothes when living in my apartment, so I tended to forget that it was a thing that was done. I'm suddenly left feeling perplexed. Why didn't I have to do laundry at the apartment?
ユーマさんは、
As I'm racking my brains trying to solve this mystery, Kanye suddenly speaks and pulls me out of my reverie. What is this?
はい、
She fidgets nervously, then says,
トランクス派なんですね。
Her cheeks flush pink. Kana, my dear.
はい。
I want you to know that I'm grateful to you for taking care of my laundry.
なんでしょう。
But I'm gonna be doing my own laundry in the future. If I want, I can even just take it back to my apartment with me.
そんな、そういうことをされてしまっては私の楽しみが減ってしまいます。
That really?
はい。ユーマさんの下着を洗う前とその後が私の楽しみなんです。
Yeah, I've been unable to walk properly all fucking day. Because while I was bringing my grandmother some firewood, essentially, because I have to essentially just kneel down like this constantly while picking up the fucking firewood. I tried to get up with the fucking like with the fucking box of firewood. Tried to step out of the fucking garage and immediately proceed to like fucking just my knee bent the wrong way a bit, and I've been unable to walk 100% properly ever since then. That was not nice. It'll be alright by tomorrow again, but it just still feels weird right now. Examine it. What on earth are you doing to my underwear?
湿気の何もしていませんよ。
She slightly cocks her head.
ただちょっと匂いを嗅いでみたりしてみただ
I'm
け
going
で。
to beat you. I grimace at her.
ちょっと、どうしてそんな顔するんですか？
See, you don't know why.
別におかしなことではないはずです。きっと、世の中の良妻はみんなやっていることだと思います。
I'm going to execute you in the name of all fucking wives on the planet Earth. Because that is slander towards them. I highly doubt that.
あります。大ありですよ。ちゃんと綺麗になったかどうか確かめないといけないでしょ?
They checked that by just grabbing her shirt out of the fucking bundle and smelling it. If fucking necessary. Please don't ever touch my underwear ever again.
そんな遠慮なさらず。
You don't... you think this is me being shy?
恥ずかしんぼさんなんですね。
Anyone would be repulsed to learn that their underwear was being used to satiate someone's lust.
烈情って何ですか？烈情って愛情表現の裏返しですよ。
You're supposed to turn underwear inside out before washing it, not backwards.
あれ?
Look, all I'm trying to say is, it's embarrassing. I'm a guy who's hit puberty. Just the thought of a girl my age folding my underwear already makes me uncomfortable enough.
わかりました。
She purrs his lips
これ
huffily.
からはユマさんの下着は別にしますね。
Thanks. Anyway, you said you wanted to use the basement after dinner, right?
あ、はい、そうです、そうなんです。
You wanna go check, you wanna go ahead and, exchange your money now?
お願いします。
Kana walks over to a money box in the corner of a room and shakes some money out of it.
1枚、2枚、3枚、4枚。これくらいで足りるかな。
Oh, you've got quite a bit of money saved up, huh?
はい、こういう時以外には使わないようにしてましたから。
I remember now, she's paid for the chores she does around the dome. When she reaches the amount she needs, she'll submit a formal job request to us. That's the arrangement we devised. Alright, I'll go exchange this for you right now.
はい、よろしくお願いします。
How much do you think you'll need?
そうですね。今後のことも考えると出費は最小限にしておきたいので。
She suddenly pauses, ponders for a moment.
いくらくらいが最適だと思います？
Then asks me that question in a stern expression on her face. I honestly don't know. Protruding a rueful smile, we go together towards the manager's office. Once we get there, I give her as much as she needs in exchange for the money she gave me.
ありがとうございます。これでお買い物できそうです。
You're still going after dinner?
はい、お腹が空いては戦はできませんから。
Battlefield. Sure you don't want me to come with you?
大丈夫ですよ。お買い物くらい一人でできるんです。
Well, if you say so, but be careful.
はい。明日も美味しいと言ってもらえるお弁当を作れるように、私、頑張りますね。
Alright, after visiting Kana, Kyo, and Tsukasa and informing them of the dinner, I also stopped by Suzu Nayumu's rooms. I was supposed to go and wash my face before going to the dinner. What I'd felt earlier. The thing that I'd forgotten. You told me to go do that after she woke me up. To be honest, I do still feel quite drowsy, so I head over to the dressing room where the sink is. I walk to it and fling open the door. Oh no. Yep, she did tell him that she was gonna shower. Sorry. I'm really sorry, Mia. My drowsiness has completely gone away, and along with it, the blood in my face. It was an accident. Neo?
言ったわよね。
Huh?
ノックを忘れないようにって。私、言ったわよね。
Here's the thing. She doesn't get to blame him this time. Because after she said that, she proceeded to laugh about him hitting his toe and talk about how that woke you up, huh? Which would imply that she was joking in order to get a reaction out of him. So even if, me personally, even if she said that, and I didn't forget that, I would have still just gone in because it just sounded like she was like trying to shock me awake.
もしかして忘れてったの？
I stare at the floor in resignation. I did. I nod. I forgot. My eyes dart around awkwardly. It really was an accident.
あんたってやつは
She deeply inhales before continuing.
そもそも
She's very visibly having to follow her seething anger so she doesn't fly into a fit of rage
こう
right
いう
now.
場合はさっさとここから出ていくのが鉄則だと思うけど。
Huh?
じゃない。いいから早く出て行ってよ。
I'm sorry! All common sense had apparently escaped me in my state of panic. I'm leaving! As I turn around and get a bit too hasty trying to cross the door, and as I turn around I get a bit too hasty trying to cross the doorsill and slip. Ah! My face slams right into the door. Ow.
ゆうくん、その顔どうしたの？なんだかブサイクなことになってるけど。
Right, had a bit of a freak accident, you say.
不慮の事故？何それ？
Well... Mia's glaring at me, her face bright red. Yes, well, things happen, this and that.
なんだよ、二人だけの秘密ってやつ？
I'm really gonna have to remember the dog in the future. You know, at least she didn't slap him. She stayed composed, just told him to leave, and he in a panic proceeded to fall into the fucking door.
日記を書こうか。
Right.
今日はいろいろあったから書きやすいだろ？
Was it that eventful?
幼馴染の着替えを覗いちゃったりとか、そんないろいろがあったから。
That was an accident.
もちろん、それは分かってるよ。だけど、日記には事実だけを書かなくちゃな。わざとだろうと、わざとじゃなかろうと。嘘はなしだぞ。
Honestly, I wish I could just wipe that clean from my memory. I don't want to remember that blunder ever again.
それはユーマの自由だけど、覚えておくも、忘れてしまうもん。
I guess the thing, you forget, you do it again.
とにかく、次からはノックを忘れないようにしないと。これだけは覚えておいた方がいいって思うよ。
Pick up a pen to write.
なんだよ、どうした？今日も例によってやる気なしなのか？
I don't know. It's a little early to be doing the day's diary entry.
そうか？
We ate dinner earlier than usual and it's not even 8. A little bit too soon for bedtime.
別に日記を書くのは寝る前じゃないといけないっていう決まりはないだろ？
You do have a point. Still,
でも
what if something happens at the time I have to complete my diary entry before I go to bed?
それはその時にまた追加で書けばいいだけだろ？いいから、そう愚痴ばかり言ってないでさっさと書いて。
Fine. I revisit my day today, thinking of the things I want to remember and the things I wouldn't mind forgetting. I sort through each memory one by one. Huh? Suddenly hear a clattering noise. What's that?
ユーマ。見ろ、8番が揺れてる。
Merchant Town. It is. I turn in the direction of her finger. She's pointing at the cabinet which is linked to a myriad of parallel worlds.
あそこは、あの番号は商人の町だったよな。
Yeah. Standing up, I walked over to the drawer number 8 and opened it. As is standard in situations such as this, there's a piece of paper folded 4 ways.
あそこの町はトラブルが多いな。
I open the letter and read what's written therein.
おいユーマ、これは。
You're kidding, what the hell is this? And cliffhanger. Or not. So quiet. Went to the basement right away and traveled to the merchant town. It's the middle of the night here, though. most stores still operate during these late hours. Oddly enough, they're all empty today. The street is the very picture of a wasteland. Something isn't right here. Things are too peaceful for comfort.
とにかく手紙の差出人のもとへ行ってみよう。
Right.
差出人は例の占い師だったな。
Yeah. I give her a curt nod before breaking off into a sprint. I pray to God that Kana's alright. Probably just taking Suzu along. What's going on here? Shortly thereafter, I arrive at Haku's house. However, there's a large number of townsfolk surrounding her house, talking amongst themselves. Excuse me, I've received a letter from this residence. Call out to the crowd. Is Haku here? There's a very visible change in her facial expression the moment she sees me. About a second later, she comes running towards me. Don't worry, just take a deep breath and calm down. First things first, I need to stop her from panicking. What happened? I read the letter, but didn't quite understand everything. Is it gonna be that some ingredient that's very commonly used in Merchant Town is toxic to humans in other worlds or something? I recall what the message within the letter she sent me was. Only a single sentence was written. Kana's life is in danger. What sort of life-threatening danger is Kana in? I need a succinct rundown of this current situation. Where is Kana presently, and is she safe? Do we know where Kana is right now? Haku nods before pointing behind herself towards her very own house. She's trapped. Right. Now to think of it. Kana told me she was going to be coming here to do some shopping.
表通りの屋台で買い物中だったところでお会いしました。カナさんは料理に使えそうな材料を探しているとのことでした。そこでいろいろとお話をさせていただいたのですが、この町で買える食材を使った料理などをお教えさせていただくことになりまして、早速今日から始めましょうかとうちへ案内したのですけれど。
Haku then frowns and hangs her head.
カナさんとうちに帰ると。留守番に残したレンが知らない男の人と話していたんです。
Strange man, you say?
一目でわかりました。あれは良くないものだと。だから急いで町の男の人たちに駆けつけてもらったんですけど。
Apparently Haku returned with the men only to find that the strange man had kidnapped Kana now instead of Ren. Why? Why did this happen? Who's this man? Why did Ren let him inside the house, and why is he talking to him? And why did he have to take Kana hostage?
あんなに知らない人をうちにあげちゃいけないって言って聞かせていたのに、あれからレンは私の言うことを全然聞いてくれなくて。
Which is
お恥ずかしい話ですが、少し前に山でレンが行方不明になったりと、そういうことがあったのを覚えていらっしゃいますか？
Yes, I do.
あれからレンは私にちゃんと口を聞いてくれないというか、なので今日はお買い物にも一緒についてきてくれず、一人でお留守番だったんです。
I think I understand the situation well enough. Sarena was initially captured, but now instead of her, Kana is being held hostage inside the house.
はい、その通りです。そういうことになり。違うよ。
Small head suddenly pokes out from between Haku's legs.
違うよ、お兄ちゃん。そうじゃないよ。
Can you explain for me then?
おじさんはそんなのじゃないんだよ。
That man, who are you referring to?
私を助けてくれたおじさん。山の中で山犬に食べられちゃうかもしれない時に助けてくれたの。
Right, mountain wolves. Specifically, this was when she'd gotten injured in the mountains and couldn't move her legs, if I recall correctly.
山犬という動物のものらしい死骸がそこら中に散らばっていたんだ。そしてその時、確かレンはこう言ったんだ。おじさんが助けてくれたからって。
The old man saved you.
そうだよ。おじさんはいい人なの。みんなが言うみたいに悪い人じゃないんだよ。
I think I will see the picture here. So when the old man attacked Ren, or well, when he appeared to be attacking Ren, you went off to call for help, and during that time, Kana tried to save Ren. That angered the man, or maybe it didn't, or but either way, he then took Kana hostage in the Ren's place and barricaded the two of them inside the house. Assume that's the general sequence of events that happened.
はい。それで問題はないと思います。
Alright. In that case, our first priority is to question man and hear his motives. Either he has clear ones, or he only did this out of desperation because he was backed into a corner. Anyhow, we know that Kana stepped in to save Ren.
はい。あの男は明らかに異常なものでしたから。だから違うよ。私に会いに来てくれたおじさんとお話ししてただけだもん。それなのにお母さんがおじさんのこと悪く言うから。だからおじさんは外に出てこれなくなっちゃっただけだよ。それならそうだって素直に出てくればいいだけでしょ。それなのにどうしてあの男の人はこんなことをするの？それはあのお姉ちゃんが人間だから。だからおじさんびっくりしちゃって。
Excuse me, do you think it would be alright for me to have a look at what's happening in there? I had to interrupt their conversation, but I'm worried for Kana's well-being.
はい。それではご一緒に。
Haku and I approached the house and peer inside through a wooden window. My face inadvertently twists in agony. It smells absolutely revolting. It's downright putrid.
それは正気と呼ばれるものです。
Miasma. Look towards the window and see a jet-black mist slowly sifting out from Haku's house. And good God, is it a foul smell? What is that?
ともかくうちの中をご覧になってください。それからお話をしようと思います。
Heed her words and look through the window. That must be him. Spot a single man sitting in front of the fireplace with one knee up. He looks somewhat like a vagabond. At least from my viewpoint, he certainly doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would come here for a pleasant chat. Whatever the case, the entire inside of this putrid-smelling house is stained in dark black. The floor, the walls, the ceiling, even the very air itself. Here, there, and everywhere. Everything. It's black mist and this mushy solid, which almost looks like tar. Jet black sludge clings to the walls and floor like dust and squirms and gurgles with human-like movements. Dark mist seems to be a product of the man's exhaling. She's lying down lifelessly by the man's side.
この空気に触られたのか。息はしているみたいだけど、これ以上あそこに置いておくのは危ないな。
Right. Let's simplify the situation at hand. What we need to do is get Kana out of there. There are many obstacles to accomplish that, but for now, that's what we need to focus on. Huh? Jet black mist grows thicker. The facial muscles contort as the repulsive stench strengthens. What is he talking about? The man clutches his head in agony as he begins to grind his teeth against each other. To his side, a katana sticks out from the tatami. It's badly chipped and stained with dried blood. Turn back to Haku. What is that thing? I hate to offend Ren, but that man is definitely not in any normal
あ
state.
れはおそらくタタリと呼ばれるものだと思います。
A fiend.
はい。私もこうして見るのは初めてですけど、間違いないと思います。正確にはタタリ神と言いますが、私たち妖怪の間で流行る病気のようなものなんです。流行り病と申しましょうか。
What do you mean by
簡
that?
単に言うと心の病です。私たち人でないものの力の源であります妖力は、その心のありようがそのままその力へと、要するに妖力へと変換されてしまう。人間以上にそういった側面が強いのです。ですから心が乱れると力も乱れるし、その影響で存在そのものも歪んでしまうことがある。憎しみ、悲しみ、怒り、妬み、そねみ、そういった感情は 害悪にしかならないというわけです。そうして心の重さが積み重なって出来上がるのが
Becomes sick and transformed into a living embodiment of hatred, a fiend.
そうです。そういうことになります。これは私たち妖怪には誰にでもあり得る話なんです。そうしてたたりに落ちた妖怪は二度と元には戻らない。あれはそういう病なんです。たたりは妖怪の身であれば誰にでも起こりうる。とは言ってもそう簡単に訪れる心の変化ではないはずなのです。だからきっとあの男は相当の恨みを抱えているんだと思います。
Recall the words I had heard uttered from the man's mouth earlier. Do you think he holds a grudge against humans? Damn them, it said. Damn the
人
humans.
間が憎い。あ、そうかもしれません。今冷静になって思い返してみれば、あの男は私が家に帰った時は普通でした。でもカナさんを見るなり形相が変わり、あんなにもまがまがしい匂いを発するようになったのですから。そうですね。それで間違いないでしょう。レンの言う通り、私は騒ぎすぎたのかもしれません。問題は人間のカナさんを内から遠ざければすんなり解決したのかもしれません。確かに今思えばあの男はレンではなく人間であるカナさんに対して憎悪を見せたのだとそう理解できましたけど、だけど
She bites her lip in frustration.
うちに帰ってきたらうちの中に全く知らない男がいて、その男が自分の子供と話していたなんて状況を前にして冷静でいられる母親なんて。私はともかくあの男が人間のカナさんを見た時に心の臨界点を超えてしまったのかもしれません。たたりとして完全になったのかもしれません。
Right, and Kana must have thought he was attacking at end too, which is why she stepped in to help and ultimately got captured by that man. She jumped out at the frying pan and right into the fire. Well, she's still alive, which means we may be able to negotiate with this fiend.
ユーマさん、今管理人さんはいらっしゃらないのですよね。あれはこの町の手だれたちにも手に負えない相手です。でもあの方ならもしかしたらたたりを力で退治することは難しくても適切な何かしらの方法でそれを可能にしてくれるのではないかとそう思っていたんですけど。
Yeah, I know him. He probably could have come up with something. If only he had access to his seeking power right now. There's no point in dwelling in with what ifs. As acting manager, I'll just have to do some myself. Haku?
はい。
Do you know anything I could use to protect myself? I'm gonna go in there and fetch Kana and I'd like to do it without causing a fuss if at all possible. I'm aware that it's probably no more than wishful thinking on my part to assume that this will be solved, that this can be solved amicably. He doesn't look like someone who can be reasoned with, so I want to prepare myself for every eventuality. Haku looks at me resolutely. Asking me to wait a second, she then walks off to discuss some of the people in the crowd. After a moment or two, somebody from the crowd runs off before coming back almost immediately. Haku takes what he brought back with him before returning back.
こんなものしかありませんが、どうでしょう。
Single katana. Thank you, as you do. After taking the sword, I begin to formulate my strategy. What would be the best way to get Kana out of there safely?
お願いします。状況はどうあれ、カナさんはレンを助けてくださったんです。お願いします。どうかカナさんを助けてください。
I nod and step a foot forward in this gravel. Shinka, please watch over me. I silently stride through the door sill and enter the house. Almost immediately, I scrunch my face in response to the rotten odor pervading this room.
大丈夫か、ユーマ。震えてるぞ。
Oh no, Shinku. I don't think I'm alright, to be quite honest. I'm scared. In all my experience, I've only ever had to face off against other humans. There's some unhuman monster. I've definitely never had to fight against a fiend before, so I think I'm allowed to be at least a little nervous. You know, some would say that, that this is a monster, so it's easier to face than a fellow human. But only some. I have no idea what will and won't work against an enemy of this nature. There's plenty of reason to be tense. Even so, I know that I have to get Khan out of here at all costs. That alone remains clear to me.
ユーマ、相手が話し合いを成立できないものと前提して話すけど。
Shinku suddenly lowers her voice to a whisper.
何か勝算でもあるのか？
Can't guarantee it will work, but I do have a plan.
そうなのか？それはどんなのだ？
Basically, I survive until that thing stops moving. Plain and simple. It's always best to avoid making things too needlessly complex.
そんなのは作戦とは言えない。ただの無鉄砲って言うんだよ。
This man's taking the fucking zombie soldier approach. Just hack away at it, no matter how many fucking limbs you lose. Maybe, but even so, you close the door behind me. Can't turn back now, nor would I have any intention of doing so if I could. I move forward a couple of steps. The shoulder of the man-turned fiend sitting in front of the sunken fireplace twitches. I alert him to my presence. He seems to be regarding me with caution. I've come to take the girl back, do you understand? The one lying unconscious next to you. Her. If you abide by my request, then I'll be willing to listen to any demands you may have. What do you say? It's a fair compromise. One in which no one has to get hurt. However, the man remains silent, eyeing me intently with those tiny, slanted irises. Alright then. There's my answer. Better come to a quick decision. Conversation seems to be off the table. I hold the hilt of the sword at the ready, prepared to draw on a moment's notice. The plan is still to survive until he stops moving. That's what I'm gambling on, so please watch over me and protect me, Shinku. As long as Shinku stays by my side, I won't die no matter what befalls me. Not until my memories run dry.
ユーマ、私はそんな作戦には賛成しかねる。
Got any better ideas then? Can't think of any. I don't know how powerful my foe is, but I would wager that he's stronger than me in every facet. A single glance at his form is enough to tell me so. I'm a mere apprentice as it stands. I'm still in training and I'm capable. If you take Susan, my teacher, to be 100%, then my combat prowess would probably sit at a measly third of that. My foe, on the other hand, is a fiend. I don't know if Susan would be able to fell the monstrosity that stands before me. I, with my raw abilities, wouldn't even stand a chance. Which means my only choice is to utilize some outside factor which can tip the odds in my favor. I need to make use of Shinku's magic. The weapon here is my resilience, the ability to heal off any hit.
その作戦は、ユーマ、自分の体をボロボロにされることを前提としたものだろ？もっと別の効果的な策を練り直してくるべきだって私は思う。
There's no time, Shinku, you know that? We have to act now. Khan is in serious danger. We don't have the freedom to bide our time and try to figure out what the most optimal plan is.
ユーマの言うことはわかる。よくわかる。おそらくそれが正しい。だけど、
Do you really want to leave Khan in that state she is right now?
そんなことは言っちゃいないし思ってもいない。ただ私は
This is my job after assured safety of all the dorm residents as the acting manager.
私はお前の記憶を守りたいだけなんだよ。ユーマがユーマのままでいてほしいだけなんだ。
Be that as it may. Draw my blade from its sheath and hold it in one hand. Nothing will come of us standing here discussing things. Every second we spend is a second wasted. We've come this far, so it's either do or die. First analyze the fiend before me. Keep shouting the same thing over and over with bloodshot eyes. Crouched down with my sword in hand, I shoot the monster glare.
もう一度聞こう。ユーマ、どうしてもやるんだな。
Yes, I nod.
仕方がない。ユーマ、私の力を使おう。
Yeah, isn't that what I said we'd be doing?
そうじゃない。私の力のもう一つの効果だ。
Huh?
あいつに使うんだ。私の力をあいつの心に。
It's mind.
私の言っている意味はわかるな、ユーマ。
I understand. I recall the second effect of Shinku's power of absolute healing. Yesterday she explained it to me. When I was writing my diary, she began to saying that she was going to give me a test, and although it turned out into more of a lecture, Shinku's power isn't only able to be applied to external wounds. He can probably also... Because her power isn't one of healing, it's one of resetting, essentially. So just reset his fucking mental state. Afflict with the details regarding my mind as though I'm carefully turning the pages of a diary. Second effect of a power, and the adverse effect required for its usage. Shinku's power has the ability to mend mental scars as well.
そう。私の力を心に使うと、精神的なトラウマや悪癖や過去の辛い経験だとか、そういった心の痛みを治癒することができる。だが、この力の使い方をするには条件がさらに加わる。治癒する相手の心の痛み、その一部をユーマが受け持たなくてはいけなくなる。だからこれは治癒というよりも、心の傷そのものを互いの心と心とを移動させると、そういった方がまだ正しいかもしれない。それに加えて、さらに外傷を修復するよりもずっと多くの記憶を消費してしまう。心を病んでしまった結果がたたりというなら、それを相手にするにはこの力の使い方が最善だと思うんだ。戦って力で押しのけるのではなくて、心を治癒するという方法がうまくいけば、もしかしたら話し合いが成立するくらいあいつを正気に戻すことができるかもしれない。このまま無意味な特攻を仕掛けて無駄に記憶を消費してしまうよりずっといいんじゃないかなって私は思うんだ。
Yeah.
とにかくユーマ、覚悟は決まったか？
For what?
傷ついた心に力を使うと、その心が持つ痛みの原因となっているものを術者であるユーマが垣間見ることになる。それは当然だといえば当然の流れだ。ユーマが治癒する心の痛みの一部を引き受けなくてはいけないのだから、まずはその痛みそのものを知らないことには引き受けられるものも引き受けられないから。
So what exactly are you saying?
相手はたたりとかいう正体不明だ。心を重篤に病ませた結果があれらしいじゃないか。その痛みを一部でも背負うだけの覚悟はあるのかってことだよ。
Told you earlier, we don't have time to worry about those things. Need to get Kana out of here as soon as I possibly can. That is my top priority right now. Honestly speaking, even my soul does ingest a portion of that thing's polluted mind. I can just forget the associated memories. It's a simple case of whether I decide to write them in my diary or not. She was aware of that too. That's why she's urging me to use this power, although we do truly have no other option. I suddenly feel a bit more appreciation for the tedious task I do of writing in the diary
分
nightly.
かった。
She sighs in resignation.
それならあいつの体に指一本でもいい。触れることができたなら、その瞬間に力を私が使おう。
Got it. No need to do a single thing. Touch the fiend, that's all. I said, don't need the sword after all. I step further into the tatami-floored room. With almost technical mechanical reaction speed, the fiend suddenly springs into action. In the blink of an eye, it's pulled out the sword that will stab into the tatami and cross the gap between us. Hey yo, this looks fucking sick! This actually is a really sick art style. I like it. The beast-like stream, it aims the tip of its blade before swinging downwards in a straight line towards my head. The sword effortlessly rips through the wall, the ceiling, and everything in its path, which had shielded me. Without delay, I raised my own blade to defend myself against the fiend's attack. Red sparks fly as the swords clash and clang. One human strength, force is so overwhelming that I can only attribute it to pure luck that my sword and body weren't cleaved cleanly in two. This is unnatural. This is unreal! No human could hope to produce this kind of brute strength. I knew I had no hope of defeating it with my raw strength alone. However, the Fiend is now right within arm's reach. I have to use Shinku's power. The situation stands now, though. I won't be landing a finger on it anytime soon. I have to muster up every bit of strength my body has to keep his blade at bay. Damn it, it's too strong. I mean, at this point, you've gotten in a situation where you... Like, you're not... You can just make the blade slide off. Like, even just the slight opening might be enough to let you, you know, grab him. And if he does end up hitting you with the sword, you can heal it off. Like, all you need to do is risk one injury. Essentially. Because if he doesn't back off to avoid being touched and instead attacks, sure, he'll get injured. But he's also going to be able to touch him, most likely. Which he can just heal that off. Anyways, my footing falters. Faced with the intense pain and pressure, I'm forced to place one of my knees on the ground. Slowly but surely, second by second, this blade is beginning to cut through mine. Oh, yeah, then it doesn't actually, no, if it's starting to cut through, it might actually be helpful, if anything. It'll be easier to redirect in a way. It'll be still hard. Eventually it cuts through and digs into my shoulder. Sharp searing pain proceeds to shoot through my body. Still, this is advantageous for me. My target is mere centimeters away from me. I should be able to touch from this distance. I steadily extend my left hand towards the Fiend's body. However, it reacts with a loud cry upon noticing. Perhaps on instinct, or perhaps by mere coincidence. Regardless, my fingertips are a mere hair's breadth away from touching its body. Ah! My face endures an immense impact and I'm sent flying. The Fiend smashed me hard with its knee. That's contact, though. Unless the clothes are... Yeah, the clothes probably block it. The force of it sends my body crashing into the wall of the house and tumbling out onto the main road. Ah! Even after screaming out in excruciating pain and agony, I regained composure and touched my face to assess the damage. A compound fracture on my face and damage to my spine. On top of that, I've broken my back. The intensity of pain threatens to sever my consciousness from me. Yuma! That chick was shouting, my vision clears once more. She heals my injuries without a moment's delay. Thanks! I wiped the blood from my face. I can only wonder how many memories that costed me. But I can worry about that later, now's not the time. I just touched the Shinku. Did you manage to activate your power? Okay, so it would have counted. It would have counted if Shinku didn't fucking have skill issues. So, time for round 2? Got it. Swaying from side to side with each step, Fiend emerges from the interior of the house, dragging the shuddering jet-black miasma along with it. Oh shit, my sword. I carelessly dropped my weapon when it tumbled out here earlier. Now it lies directly between me and the Fiend. Lock eyes with the deadly creature. Then in unison we both look at the sword lying on the ground between us. I make a quick dash to retrieve it. The Fiend also dashes towards it almost at the same time. Unfortunately, my speed doesn't even compare. The Fiend rushes forward with the agility of a draft of wind. I know I won't make it. Far too slow to be able to beat it and pick up the sword first. In that case, I'll just have to do this. So be it. There's all too much damn trouble. I'm done relying on swords and your power. Or your power. It's time to try out some Suzu taught me ages ago. Kick my heel and sprint towards the Fiend, which is in the process of picking up my sword. I jump on the Fiend's side to the arm that's holding the sword. After grappling that arm between my legs, I twist my body in midair and pull my enemy down to the ground. Sweet, I've never actually used this in combat, but I think I managed to pull it off. Using its arm and my hips as leverage. Oh, he's fucking arm-barring him. I don't need to use your power. You don't need to use your power anymore, Shinku. I'll choose to preserve my memories this time around. Then stretch out my body. What I hear next is the sound of something being ripped apart. Damn, it is no easy move. Immediately after Suzu took me under her wing, she taught me various combat methods so that I could hold my own during jobs we undertook in our own world, including grappling techniques. Only now, as I find myself in the middle of a life or death struggle, I have those memories come back to me. However, after the countless practice sessions I went through, they must have been burned into my muscle memory as my body seemed to know exactly what to do. Right, hold on. I sort of feel that Susan might not have actually taught me anything. Instead, all that knowledge I received from reading a martial arts book that I found in her room. I do recall her once telling me that I could master near anything by reading a book about it. My memory's kind of fuzzy, but that isn't important right now. It does matter who or where I learned this technique from. I only need one use out of it. My surprise attack is a success. As a result, the joint of the Fiend's arm breaks. Now that I've got the Fiend on the ground, I have to keep it pinned and immobile. Quickly moving around to its backside, I wrap my arms around its windpipe and squeeze as tight as I can. Clinging onto its back with the stubborn persistence of a small child, I carry out my technique. The Fiend thrashes about. It struggles to try and get me off its back and smashes against the house wall against the ground over and over. Die already, you bastard! Gritting my teeth, I squeeze its neck as hard as I can. Flood all the power in my body into my arms. After approximately a minute of squeezing, I finally feel its neck crack. With that, the Fiend collapses. It falls face first onto the pavement with a thud. After letting go, I take a step back from the body. Did I get it? The Fiend isn't budging at all. Jet black miasma flowing into the ear begins to dissipate. Whew. Exhausted, I sink down to my knees. I'm so beat. The onlooking townsfolk erupt with cheers.
よくやった。まさか私の力を使わずに勝つなんて思わなかった。
Me neither. Oh no, I got lucky. I should count my lucky stars today. If fortune hadn't favored me, then I would be dead right now. I nod, watching from afar as the townspeople gather around the Fiend's corpse. And God, I remembered Suzu's secret techniques. Like who would have thought that they'd come in handy now? It really is crazy. Truth was, she had actually taught me various combat techniques when I was a kid. Actually, on second thought, maybe I did just read it in a book. Well, no matter. Either way, I ought to be grateful to her for being such a good teacher.
結局は私の力を使わずに済んだな。私としてはこの結果が一番いいんだ。
Technically, I did use it once.
そうだな。私が言ってるのは、タタリの心に力を使わずに済んだなってことなんだよ。
In all truthfulness, I wasn't fully prepared to use it, but somehow I still managed to emerge triumphant while expending as few of my memories as possible, so I'm not worried about it. Yeah, just a little worn out. Smiled Riley. So I had to ask his use, but could you take care of Connor for me? She runs into the house to retrieve the unconscious Connor. I wonder. What do you think the man who turned her to feed was? What relationship did he have with Ren? Even after everything, we still don't have any answers.
それはレイ本人に聞いてみればいいじゃないか。
True. I searched my surroundings for her.
おじさん。
Then is standing stock still, staring at the Fiend's corpse with a forlorn look in her eye. I can't even begin to imagine what emotion she's feeling right now. Ren, let's try to call out to her. Haku returns.
ユーマさん、カナさんは無事みたいです。今、町のお医者様に念のため見てもらっていますが、何も心配なさることはないと思います。
That's good news. Kana's unharmed. What relief. That's the most important thing right now. Thank you so much. Relief fills my mind as the tension washes out of my body all at once.
こちらこそ、今回もご迷惑をおかけして。
Rather than focusing on us, please listen to what Ren has to say. I'm sure she has important details to share with us.
はい、わかりました。
Haku bows deeply and then, huh? My nose catches a whiff of foul stench. A scream rings out. I turn around instantaneously. What the? Townsfolk surrounding the Fiend's corpse are being flung into the air one after another. The fact that I stood there in awe for a second was a fatal blunder on my part. A shadowed figure charged towards me, mowing down everything in its path. Only when it's within striking range do I notice. Its sword plunges straight into my stomach. After receiving this painful blow, I collapse onto the floor. The Fiend then strangles me. This whole sequence of events happened in the span of a few seconds. I completely and utterly let down my guard. My foe is no man, nor is it even human in nature. I was a fool to think an all grappling move would be enough to topple a monster like this. I should have killed it without a shadow of a doubt. If only I thought to sever its head. The Fiend twists and turns the blade protruding from my skin. My very organs are being minced. Cough. I heave and vomit up dark blood. Fucking hell! I'm touching it. Right now I'm touching the Fiend. Go figure. Looks like I'll have to rely on Chinka's power after all. Scent of disinfectant fills the air. Hear me, mister? I need to have a peek into your mind. Fall into the depth of a deep, deep dream. It was a dream. Yes, currently dreaming. It hurts. A voice reverberates throughout the darkness. It hurts. Nobody notices me. Nobody looks at me. It was the voice of a nameless spirit. Why I must be so lonely, it hurts. Without a name, he has no insight into the circumstances of his birth. His soul is small and his existence feeble. He has neither purpose nor direction. It hurts. It hurts. Being all alone hurts so much. He was born in an old wayside shrine, nestled deep within the mountainside and forgotten by all. He had neither parents nor siblings, nor friends nor acquaintances. He was truly and utterly alone. His only companions were the darkness and a single sword once offered upon the shrine. He knew neither who offered it nor their reason for doing so. All he knew was darkness and his own hazy consciousness. That was the entire world. His life had no meaning. His very existence was nothing but a waste of space. He often wondered to himself, why was I born into this world? Why? Why is this world so dark, so cold, so suffocating? It hurts. I spent day after day huddled in a corner of the dark room, cursing the misfortunes of solitude. One day, however...
Kami-sama!
For the first time since being born into this world and living for however many years or however few days he had...
Kami-sama!
That's Kana. That's gotta be Kana. He opened his eyes in the darkness to a feeble quivering voice. Lured by the voice he heard, the man gingerly peered out into the blinding world beyond the darkness of his shrine room. Thereupon he saw a small girl. Or not. Actually, looks familiar. She had provided an offering and was praying fervently at the shrine belonging to the man. There were tears in her eyes. Her hands were clasped together in prayer, and cheeks wetted by her continuous crying. Ah. Oh, how he wanted to speak to that girl. But it was all for naught. He couldn't translate his feelings into words. Hello there, he wanted to say. Or perhaps, what is your name? He wanted to ask. Why are you so sad, little girl? He wanted to know. All he wanted was to speak to her and ask her, but he could not. He gave up, telling himself that his quiet voice would never reach the ears of the little girl. The darkness retreated and closed his eyes. It hurts, just like any other night. He was all alone.
Kami-sama.
The next day came and the girl visited once more. She gave a small bread bun as an offering and folded her hands in prayer.
Kami-sama, どうかお願いします.
God, he did not truly understand what this word meant. God, he repeated it over and over, just as the girl had done. With each utterance, he could feel the hole in his heart, created by this loneliness, shrinking ever so slightly. The girl continued to visit the shrine every day following, through wind, through rain, through snow, through storm, day after day after day. At a certain point, the man decided to give himself a name, God. That would be his name henceforth, he told himself. So that whenever the girl would call out God, God, his ears would interpret it as her calling him. Even though he knew deep down that he wasn't the one she was thinking of, the loneliness in his heart was fading more and more with each passing day. However, something did strike the man as unusual about her. She would always make the same offering and always say the same prayer. What are you praying to God for? He wanted to ask her. But he knew that he would never be given an answer to that question. She couldn't hear him, so he could not comfort or help her in any way. He couldn't touch her, so he could not reach out and wipe away her tears. What stopped him more than anything else, however, I'm scared. Venturing out of this dark rut and into the bright world that awaited him was not something so easily done. He spent his whole life in this darkness. The outside world was foreign to him and he was afraid. I'm happy enough that you come here every day. So he resolved in his heart that he would ask for nothing more, so long as he could fulfill that one wish of hers. He would live the rest of his days amidst cold darkness and quiet solitude. He would not see anyone. He would not speak, laugh, or smile. So if I could just stop your tears, he prayed for her every day. Please grant this girl happiness, allow her to smile. The girl always wept so sorrowfully when she would call his name, hands clasped together in prayer. What can I do to put a smile on your face? That was the single thing he thought about day in and day out. He focused on it with such devotion that he no longer felt the pains of his loneliness. Please answer her prayer. He wanted to see her smile. He wanted to see her laughing, not crying. So he prayed time and time again to this invisible being he knew nothing of. One day, however, he began to notice changes. With each passing day, the girl was beginning to look more and more bruised and battered. What happened to your face? He so desperately wanted to ask, but his voice did not reach the ears of the little girl. The injuries would worsen and increase every time he saw her. One day, her eye was swollen. The next, she had painful-looking purple bruises on her face. What happened? Who did this to you? The girl continued to pray fervently as her injuries multiplied. The man prayed day after day for happiness, but she was breaking down both physically and mentally. Please, little girl, don't cry, he so desperately wanted to say to her. But his voice would not reach her ears. Not now, not ever. He was unable to so much as wipe her tears. The girl had always clasped her hands together with such devotion, but the hope was beginning to fade from her eyes. After that day, the girl's appearances stopped. What's happened? The man became worried. Is she alright? Many days passed. Seasons came and went, and came again. He never saw the girl again. It hurts. He wallowed in grief. It hurts so much more than before. One day, long after the girl stopped coming to the shrine, he made a decision. I'll find her myself. He hardened his resolve. The world outside scared him, terrified him to no end. Even so, he decided that he would muster up his courage and leave the shrine. I miss her. I miss her so badly. I see her face right this very instant. He could see him. She couldn't see him, but he could not smile at her, and so he could not smile at her and wish her to be happy. She couldn't hear his voice, so he could not comfort her and tell her that everything would be all right. He was all too aware of his own powerlessness. Even so, he had to see her. He had to find out the truth behind her tears and her devoted prayers. If he found her to be smiling, safe and happy, then he would ask for no more. He would be fully and wholly satisfied. Even if she didn't have the time to visit the shrine anymore, as long as she was happy, he would be at ease. But if I could have but one wish, I would wish for her to call me God one last time. This time instead of saying please God with a smile on her face. This time instead saying please God with a smile on her face. I won't be lonely anymore if I can have that one wish granted. He followed the scent of her tears and climbed down to where the humans dwelled. There he found a bright and lustrous town. The air was congested, filled with light by shining lanterns, as large groups of people walked with their faces cast down towards the ground. His impression was simple, so very large, the polar opposite of his world. His mind simply refused to believe that people lived in such a place. That girl is definitely in this town somewhere. He could make out her scent, the scent of her tears, which he'd followed to this area. Following it a bit further, he arrived at a certain building. This is where she is. It was an establishment where men gathered nightly in pursuits of pleasures of the flesh. In blunt terms, it was a brothel, and no old brothel to be sure. He didn't know, of course, what purpose this building served. He had no way of knowing. The sound of her tears was coming from inside. He entered the building, and the lingering scent of the girl's tears grew stronger. What is this place? Following her scent, he advanced further into the two-story building. He passed several vacant rooms along the way. Their doors had been left open in order to clear the air so he could see inside them. They were empty, completely uninhabited. It stinks, but it smells so bad in here. Stench of blood and other bodily fluids hung in the air. Was a brothel indeed. A brothel built specifically to cater to men with certain abnormal proclivities. Izanagi was its name. All the women who were offered at the establishment were not human, or precisely they were half-spirits. The men who came as customers were curious humans who could only achieve sexual gratification by resorting to extreme forms of violence. Human women, dainty as they were simply unfit for this kind of work. On the other hand, full-blooded spirits were too resilient. The men wouldn't be able to satisfy their twisted desires. That is why all the prostitutes at this establishment were especially half-spirits. Their cries and screams were music to the men's ears. It only fueled their lust. Humans by their nature are creatures who were never fully satisfied. The patrons of this establishment were all wealthy men, human men who had grown tired of normal everyday joys and pleasures. This brothel was created solely for their satisfaction. Although it's hardly needed to be mentioned, the services offered at this place and others were highly illegal. Society had no tolerance for these men's such sexual degeneracy. The man, of course, did not know or understand that, for he'd lived his whole life in solitude. His mind could never begin to imagine the kind of vile, heinous acts that occurred inside the building on a nightly basis. What on earth are these men doing? There was nothing pleasant about anything his eyes saw. Soon the man arrived at a certain room. It was the room where the little girl served her customers. All I wanted was for her to be safe and happy, but what he saw inside was anything but that. The girl was crying, numerous human men around her grinning maniacally. They were torturing her tiny body for their own amusement. He averted his eyes was a sight too excruciating to bear. He had never imagined that he would find the girl calling his name in a situation such as this. No, this isn't what I wanted. Stop, please, no more, he cried out in despair. The girl crying out in anguish. The men around her crying out in delight. What is this? If there is a hell in this world, I'm looking at it right now. What had this girl done to deserve such a thing? Please, anybody answer me, he cried out in his mind. What had led her to such a life full of pain and suffering? Humans continued to torture the girl unrelentingly. Eventually she stopped moving. Why? The girl's dead body was dumped like trash at a morgue near the edge of town. The man then built the grave for her. Why did this have to happen? Only when the girl had become a lifeless corpse did his wish of touching her finally come true. He gently stroked her small cheek, never again to be wetted by teardrops. It was so frighteningly cold. He had wanted to see her smile, even if only once. So why? Why did you have to suffer fate? Why did you have to suffer fate like this? Everything he cherished and loved had been crushed before his very eyes as he stood there powerless to do anything. Damned them, cursed them, sent them all to hell. This girl was the only person who had ever brought any amount of joy to his heart, and he knew not even her name, so he could just inscribe it upon her tombstone. I'm so weak, so weak. He cursed the humans who had delighted in her torture. But more than anything, he cursed his own weakness. Cursed them all, cursed every last one of those filthy humans. On that day, the nameless man was consumed by his own wrath and became a fiend. I was dreaming. It was a short dream, one that started and finished in the blink of an eye. It was so very long. Tears pour from the fiend's colorless eyes. Using Shinku's powers, our minds overlapped and began to understand what had happened. I know. First, you blame more than anyone yourself. Don't forget yourself for being unable to save the girl. Man had lost his mind and transformed to a fiend to the self-loathing that spawned from the crushing realization of his own powerlessness. After having lost the only girl who had ever brought joy to his heart, he was left a broken husk of his former self. He wandered from town to town as the resentment in his heart began to fester. He had killed numerous people along the way. However, it did nothing to rid his heart of the hatred and anguish. Quite the contrary, in fact. With each subsequent life he took, the heavier his heart began to weigh. For it mattered little how many humans he slaughtered, the girl would never return. So as he continued on his path of carnage, wandering from town to town, murdering any human who dared oppose him, one day he came across Ren in the mountains. She bore a slight resemblance to the girl he longed for. Ren was surrounded by ravenous mountain wolves, crying while saying something about how her mother had been mean to her recently. Ren the crybaby, the girl who shed tears in front of me. He could feel traces of his former self returning, the part of himself that should have been lost forever. One helped this girl, he thought. There in the mountains, the man exchanged a promise with the little Ren. Whenever she felt lonely, he would come and make things a lot better. So please don't cry anymore, he said. For some reason, he then parted with Ren. He could feel his mind once again being... When he parted with Ren, he could feel his mind once again being tainted in darkness. I'm turning into something that isn't me, he soon realized. A fiend. I am a fiend. Huh? Fiend suddenly begins to mumble. Since Shinku's power allowed me to glimpse inside his man and take a portion of his pain, the fiend has ever so slightly reverted to his former self. What do you mean? Tiny resemblance of emotion has returned to the fiend's eyes. Alright, I nod. Accept your request. If that is what you wish, then I, as an apprentice liberator, will free you from the fetters which bind you. His eyes can once again fill with rage. The shades of the deep dark mouth that consumed him are returning. In that case, why don't we use it on his mind one more time? I might allow him to return to normal.
心が完全に病んでしまってるんだ。それにユーマ、私の力を心に使うのは一人に対して一回きりだ。そういう制限がある。だからもうこのたたりには使えない。
Alright, no matter what we do, he will never gain his sanity. Shinku's power can only be used on somebody once. And the illness which plagues a fiend is incurable. That in mind, there's only one thing I can do for this man. That being, promise to swear to him, I will rid both you and her of all lingering regret. So please be at ease and rest in peace. Push the now much weakened fiend down onto its side, releasing myself from underneath. Finally lets go of the katana. Slowly I pull the sword that had been stabbed, pull out the sword that had been stabbed into my abdomen. Wish you all the happiness there is to offer in your next life. After that, I sever his head from the neck. Good evening, sir. Come in and see our assortment of high-quality hospitals. Even as a first-time customer, can guarantee you a night of absolute sublime pleasure, so long as you have the money. I'm interested, but I've never been to one of these establishments before. Is that all right? After walking on what felt like ages, I finally reached the place in question and gazed up at its sign. This area bears a strong resemblance to the townscape of the Merchant Town, but it couldn't be more different. If Merchant Town is a place of colorful lights, then this is an unpleasant place where darkness and sin cling to your skin the moment you enter it. Our women here have utter nerves of steel. I'm sure they'll be able to take whatever you throw at them. And I'm sure you'll find all the pleasure you want. Oh, really? That does sound rather enticing. It does, doesn't it? By the way, sir, I see a sharp object around your waist. Unfortunately, we cannot allow you to take that with you when you see the women. Shall I hold on to it for you? Well, I can get to that later. There's something I want to ask you first. May I? Yes, sir. This is the infamous brothel Izanagi, is it not? According to the rumors, you locate struggling and impoverished families, or families with unwanted children, and buy their young female half-spirits for a criminally cheap price, and then force them into sexual servitude. I want to provide a bit of satisfaction to the rich and sadistic men who frequent this place. Is that correct, good sir? Oh, and I also heard that you kidnapped the girl's infant siblings or their parents as a means to dissuade them from running away. This is Izanagi, sir. However, I do not take offense to your labeling of us as infants. It is rather demanding to our reputation, you see. For the moment, I will just assume you meant it as a compliment. However, I do ask that you please exercise more consideration when it comes to your tone of speech and choice of words. I say that for your own good, sir. That is the secret to living a peaceful life, whether it be long or short. Please keep that in mind. Really, thank you very much, sir. I'll take that to heart. But I've been looking so long for this place. The only bit of information I had was the name, so it was quite a struggle getting here, I tell you. Sir, may I ask, who are you? I want satisfaction. Excuse me. You said I can stay here until I'm fully satisfied, didn't you? I lift the fiend's sword and behead the brothel worker. You've taken on the burden of a fiend's heart. You won't be satisfied until you sick bastards are all on your knees crying and begging for mercy. You just cut off his head! Intruder! Intruder! People in the rooms cry out. Alright, time to get to work! Today we'll destroy this place! I stand in front of the grave belonging to the girl from the dream. Next to her, I've erected a gravestone for their fiend. 2 tombstones side by side, neither of them inscribed. Fulfilled your request and vanquished that hell sight from this world. You can rest in peace now.
Yuma-san.
Did Kana watch all that? Oh my god. Did Kana just watch him walk into this brothel and just fucking start taking hits? Jesus. Kana had woken up soon after being freed from the fiend's shackles. After I explained to her what happened, I informed her that I'd be going out on work and that she should go home. But she wouldn't budge, insisting that she come with me. Apparently, she'd experienced the same dream that I had while she was unconscious. I don't know why. Perhaps Shinka's power somewhat transferred transferred to Kana's unconscious mind. Perhaps the fiend's intense feeling of hatred spilled over into Kana's dreams as she slept next to him. I'm not knowledgeable enough to be able to find those answers. Anyhow, that's the reason why Kana and I are now standing in front of these gravestones together. While I was doing the dirty work of laying waste to that place, I had kinda go and search for the girl's
こ
grave.
れで幾分か二人は安心して眠ることができるんでしょうか。
Hopefully they are. Don't know, all I did was a job that was asked of me. I brought an end to that living hell. It was the request. I managed to complete it fully. All I did was get rid of it, nothing more. I'm praying for a miracle to occur. A miracle like the one which led, like that one which led Kana and I to both see the Fiend's dream. May the two of them meet again one day, in a distant place and a distant time, and pray for a beautiful miracle of that kind to happen. Anyway, I finished up the job. As a reward, Mr. Fiend, I'll be taking your sword. That'll do for me. Two of us thus leave the place behind us, all the while feeling a small piece of his heart that I carry within me silently aching.
はじめまして。
In some faraway place, in some faraway
君
future,
の名前は
nameless one emerged from the darkness asking that question. It took every ounce of courage in him to do so, but it was something that he had firmly resolved to do.
ずっと見ているばかりだったけど、やっと届いた。私はきっと君のことが大好きだったんだ。
神様、
The girl smiled.
神様、やっと会えたね。
ああ、うん。
They had finally met. No longer was his heart filled with loneliness.
神様、聞いてください。私の名前は
They didn't want to think of a name. Sorry. Really, not a good time to throw out jokes after something this fucking heavy. Nikaido Shinku does not rest. A Midsummer Night's Dream. No. No. Nah. Promise. Also, nah. We're not dealing with Shakespeare here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you next time. Bye bye.